My new phone gets here Friday.
Which one did you get?
I got the 12 Pro Max.
What color?
Pacific Blue.
Nice. That's the one I wanted for the 12 Pro, but I would have had to waited until like January, close to. At least it said on there.
January?
It said December 20 something.
Jeez. Did you order it like the day of?
No.
No,
my Allie got the Pacific Blue one. She got it right away.
Yeah, I don't know why the pre-order for the 12 Pro Max and the 12 Mini were on November 6th instead of October 16th or whatever the other one was. But it said that it comes on the 13th, which is Friday. So.
All right. Ready? What am I listening to? Oh. I was like, why do I hear ourselves? All right. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Around the 412. Wait, hold on. Redo that.
Nice.
Redo that.
Well,
there you
go. There you go, YouTube.
I was like reading something else while I was trying to do our intro. I'm not that good yet.
There you go. There you go, Logan. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Around the 412. We are part of allsteelers.com and proudly presented by Crowworthy, where winners are serving winners coast to coast with sports, gambling, fantasy, and more. You can follow Crowworthy at Crowworthy on Twitter, and you can visit us at crowworthy.com. You can also check out the Crowworthy Pittsburgh City page for podcasts just like this one, blogs, and more. I'm Tyler, and with me as always is Smitty. Man, I'm happy that went smoothly. The one we just did prior to that, I fumbled literally on the first sentence. So,
yeah. Take
how's
2.
it going?
Take 2. Those are always fun, but hey, it happens. We're not perfect. We strive to be, but it's not going to happen. Logan, we did know that we were live. It's kind of how every show starts. We start out just talking a little bit on YouTube before I actually press record for the podcast part. So yeah, we did know we were live. We were talking about iPhones, but yeah, we did. That wasn't a hot mic situation. But no, I'm super excited. I'm feeling good. I want to give a shout out to somebody. I was just kind of listening to their music right before we start as well. J-Dub Murph, Justin Murphy, who went to school with you.
Yep, there's 2 grades below me.
Yeah, he just released an EP this past weekend, 5 songs on it. You can get it anywhere that you get your music at, stream it. But it's awesome. It's an awesome project. I highly recommend going and getting it and listen to it. We might start playing some of it on here if he approves, which I'm assuming he will.
Yeah, it's a good EP, and he's a good dude. I've got a lot of fun memories, to say the least, with him.
I feel like you could listen to it and just like tell exactly what he's gonna look like. Like he looks exactly like that. Like that's it's like, I mean, the word vibe, good vibes, gets thrown around often, but like when you're listening to it, it's perfect. Like,
right. And if you go watch the episode of our friend's show, Back to the Berg,
yeah.
He was on it last week, and he described the EP as being, he just said like funky, and you can you can definitely tell with that style of music. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, some of the beats and sounds that are just thrown in there. It's different. And I think that's what's so great about it.
I know I think he went to school a little bit to be a producer, so I'm wondering if he made like all the beats himself.
Potentially. Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like he does. I don't know. Just again, like it seems like I know that, like, you know, Chance is a big influence on him and stuff like that. And I feel like that does kind of come out, but like just knowing him a little bit just through social media and stuff, I could definitely see him wanting to be like literally just him, you know, like all hands are just him. So his sound is just so unique to him. So I feel like he definitely does do all that on his own. But anyway, we're talking a lot about this, but yeah, go grab it. The project itself is called Balance, correct?
Balance.
Yes. So go grab that again anywhere that you listen to music. Shane, I see that you're in here. What is going on, pal? Let's talk about the Steelers. So we're gonna do some NFL bets later in the show, and I'm super excited to talk about it because I went 11-2 last week in my bets. I tweeted it out, but I just wanted to mention it on here again as well because I don't think that I'll ever do that good again. So I have to highlight it this week.
Also, we did miss a game because it was not listed on FanDuel at the
Yeah,
time.
Detroit and Minnesota, due to Detroit had like a COVID situation. Matthew Stafford was on the COVID list up until Saturday. Similar to what we are going to talk about here with the Steelers, they had some guys that were on the list just because of close contact and stuff. And there also is a game. We'll talk about it when we get to the NFL betting stuff. But the Washington football team in Detroit. So Detroit again, they don't have a point total for that game listed literally anywhere. So we're going to have to avoid that when picking the games. We're either going to have to go with a spread, money line, or just say, you know what, I can't pick this game because I would have gone points. But yeah, excited to talk about football. Steelers still undefeated. We're going to talk about that as soon as I tell you guys about one of our sponsors, which is Manscaped. So with football being back, that means it's time to throw in your team's colors and make sure you don't fumble your grooming below the waist. Our partners at Manscaped are here to save your boys from a TJ Watt hit, so you stay clean and take care of yourself where it matters most. Manscaped is here with a surefire touchdown with the best tools for your grooming experience. I say it every week, but I have pretty much everything that they have. The one thing I am missing is the Weed Whacker, which is the nose and ear hair trimmer. Being that just a young 25, I am starting to notice that I could use one of those tools, though, unfortunately. So at some point here in the near future, I probably will have to invest in a Weed Whacker.
Growing hair in the wrong areas. Losing it on your head, going into your nose.
That's what happens, I guess, with age. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months to perfect the Lawnmower 3.0. It's simply the best hygiene tool for the modern man. Because of their ceramic blade and skin-safe technology, your snags will be reduced. Their Perfect Package 3.0 comes with a new and improved lawnmower, which is waterproof, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag for when you are done quarantining. The Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant, which ensures that your afternoon stroll doesn't end with your balls sticking to your leg. The Crop Reviver is a spray-on toner for your balls. It's made with soothing aloe and witch hazel extracts that will give your balls that much-needed boost. You can get 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code 412 at manscaped.com for any of these great products. Take advantage of this limited-time offer at Manscaped's Pro Bowl lineup and try it for yourself. Again, that's code 412 at checkout at manscaped.com. You get 20% off plus free shipping.
The past couple of weeks, people who watch the YouTube videos may think I'm a little weird because I'm huffing this Crop Preserver.
Yeah,
like
and I'm
it's
not even
rubber
paying attention.
like it's rubber cement, and I'm like a third grade kid.
Logan just mentioned too the mats that they come with. That's a good point. Yeah, the mats that they come with that look like newspaper to catch the clippings. I don't want to get I feel like we're getting kind of personal just talking about the subject in general, but I only use mine in the shower. So
how do I want to say this? I'm very strategic with how I do it. I feel like I kind of just like go over the toilet bowl, if you know what I'm saying. Like I just gotta angle it correctly. That way it's like no mess. It just falls right in.
Nice. Could you imagine if we were just having this conversation when we were doing like an interview or something?
Oh, I know. That'd be so awkward.
Shane, yeah, at least I did see Takk McKinley was claimed off waivers by the Cincinnati Bengals. This upcoming opponent for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we talk about this upcoming game, we got to talk about the last game. So the Steelers improved to 8-0 on Sunday, defeating the Dallas Cowboys in a game that didn't go, I think, as we expected. But at the same time, knowing what we know about the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road in the game against a inferior opponent, those games tend to be close for whatever reason. The Steelers just aren't typically a team that blows teams out on the road when they are a heavy favorite. So that held true again. We squeaked out a 24-19 point win. A lot of history was made on Sunday, though. Steelers 8-0 for the first time in franchise history. Mike Tomlin ties the record for the most consecutive non-losing seasons as a head coach. Should he get 8 wins next season, that we're looking way too far ahead, he would then break the record. And Big Ben breaks the record now, 17 consecutive seasons to start his NFL career with at least 8 wins. So a lot of history made for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. The game itself, though, not pretty.
Yeah, and I feel like that might be a little bit of my fault. I tweeted earlier in the week last week, if the Steelers do not win by 21, then you should just consider this game a loss. Maybe I jinxed it, but I really should have just seen it coming because the Steelers do this every year. They have a game where they should just blow out a team and they either end up losing or it's a very close game and it shouldn't be.
Well, that's the thing. At least they end up winning the game.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the difference this year compared to previous years is like this year, I'm confident that even if a game is like you have to grind it out and it's an ugly game, the Steelers can win any game like that. Previous years, I'm not so sure that can happen, especially last year. I mean, we saw that if this is last year's team, there's no way the Steelers would have won this game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And even, if Big Ben, who got banged up in this game, hurt both knees, if he doesn't come back in the second half, I don't think that they win the game. So, I mean, yeah, it's completely different from last year. And going back to the Ravens game as well, the previous week, we saw it again, the running game completely eliminated from the game plan. And it wasn't like the Steelers were, down to the point where they had to do that. It's just, it was working. It was effective. And then it was during the Chiefs-Panthers game. The Chiefs only ran the ball like 7 times or something like that, or at least they had up to this point when I was watching it. And they were talking about, the commentators were like, this is why people need to stop getting so hung up on balance of the offense. You take what the defense is going to give you. If you're not able to run the ball, but you're throwing the football efficiently and effectively, just continue to do it. You can't get hung up on the idea of trying to run the ball. And the Steelers didn't. They went 5 wide, and so it worked. It's why they came back in this football game. Ben took over once again, the play calling, going up tempo, no huddle. That's been, when the offense has operated at its best, is when they go off script. So again, on Sunday, it works. They squeak out a 5-point win. And once again, it comes down to Minkah Fitzpatrick breaking up a play in the end zone.
Yeah, you mentioned the running game. James Conner, 9 carries, 22 yards, 2.4. Even if he has double those carries at 2.4 yards a carry, it's not going to be anything.
Yeah, and I was looking, I tweet out the snap counts each week. He wasn't even on the field for 50% of the snaps. He was on the field for like 46% of the snaps. So, and then, Anthony McFarland had like 7 touches or something like that. Benny Snell is sparingly on the field. Jalen Samuels didn't see the field at all. So the running backs, they just weren't utilized. And, another guy that really wasn't utilized, he did catch a touchdown, James Washington, who's been on the field for like less than 20% of the snaps 3 weeks in a row now. When they go these five wide sets, it's been Juju, Johnson, Claypool, Eric Ebron, and Ray McLeod. And it's working, and that's why until a team is able to stop it, they're going to continue to go to that well.
Yeah, the James Washington touchdown was one of only 2 targets that he had. Ray McLeod, meanwhile, he also had 2 targets, but for a guy that you thought was only going to be a return guy compared to another guy who
22 snaps a game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's working, don't fix it. So I can't blame him. But I wanted to say, like, so the past 2 games we had talked about how both games are like a tale of 2 halves, just different halves for each one. The Tennessee game was first half was great, second half was crap. Baltimore was the opposite. First half was great, first half was crap. Second half was great. This one was more or less a tale of 1 quarter, and it's because like going into the fourth quarter, the Steelers had played almost terrible the entire time before that, and then it really turned around at the end of the third quarter when they started the drive going into that Juju touchdown. And so Ben had 306 yards to end the day. 194 came in the fourth quarter, plus that little bit that was at the end of the third quarter to start that drive. So you have like 2/3 of his yards just coming in 1 quarter. Previous to that, the offense was doing terrible. The defense was getting beat by Gallert Grindelwald or whatever his name is. Gilbert person. I have no idea. I don't even remember. What's his name?
Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah, that dude. 4-string practice string quarterback. But I mean, the fourth quarter was great. So it was really a tale of 1 quarter this game.
Yeah, the Washington touchdown right at the end of the first half was literally the only offense that they had put together. And you look at it again, okay, 2-minute drive. So it was the 2-minute drive, which the Steelers have been, good at. Obviously, when you have a guy like Big Ben, that's when he works the best, is those 2-minute drives. So they get a touchdown there. That was the only offense in the first half. And then, the Juju touchdown comes on the first play of the fourth quarter. So the drive had started in the third quarter. But again, to your point, fourth quarter, the Steelers, obviously, that was their best quarter of the game. Without it, they don't win. But offensively, defensively, that was the only quarter where they really showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that Garrett Gilbert, that's his name, I'm sorry. I literally just forgot again. There's no reason that he should be throwing for 240 plus on you. I mean, there isn't. If you're that good of a defense like the Steelers are supposed to be, that shouldn't happen. And he even broke off a long run too. Like this defense, it can be the best in the NFL, but when it plays bad, it is bad. Like for real, it's a very mediocre defense when they're not on their game.
I'll tell you what, I didn't realize, obviously losing Bush for the season, we knew was going to be big, and Spillane has stepped up in a great way. I mean, playing 93% of the snaps on Sunday. The trust that he's gained from that coaching staff, just phenomenal. But he still has his limitations. Avery Williamson didn't play at all. That's going to change this Sunday, especially with, what we're going to talk about, one of the linebackers currently on the COVID list. And then I really didn't realize that Tyson was this big of a piece for the defense. I mean, we are seeing how teams are able to run the ball, even though Ezekiel Elliott didn't have a great day. Tony Pollard broke off some runs. You just mentioned the Derek Gilbert run where he got away from Henry Mondo. I mean, Tyson has been a huge part of this defense. Hopefully he's back on Sunday, because it looks like Joe Mixon's going to be back for Cincinnati. If not, they have Giovanni Bernard. That's a capable offense. I think that they need him back. It does also look like we're going to get Mike Hilton back, practice fully. But we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But yeah, I did not realize how big Tyson was for the success of this defense.
Yeah, he stepped up a lot this year, and he's not even a traditional nose tackle. I mean, that's the position he's playing this year, but I don't think he's really ever played that in his career. So he's really stepped up a lot, and we need him back. I mean, it was a good game for him to get rest, and especially since the Steelers were able to win. But yeah, hopefully he's back with the Bengals.
Okay, well, Shane said Spillane played 93% because of availability from other linebackers. Not much to read into there. I disagree with that, because he played over 90% the week before as well. Not to mention Avery Williamson wasn't on the roster. Marcus Allen still was. He only played 4 snaps. Robert Spillane has been better in coverage than Vince Williams. That's why I'm curious to see what they do even with Williamson. Is it like Spillane and Vince Williams in obvious running situations, and then Spillane and Williamson in obvious passing situations? I don't know what they're going to do, but what it comes down to, the common denominator there, is the fact that I think that Spillane has become a huge part of this defense, and he has the trust of the coaching staff to do so.
Yeah, he's shown no signs of slowing down from what he's done in the Tennessee game on. So I think he's for sure going to be on there every down. I mean, he has to be.
Or close to. Yeah, again, 93% of the snaps. I think it was right around 90 in the Baltimore game, somewhere around there. So, and that was with, again, Vince Williams was out there. Marcus Allen played 13 snaps in that game, something like that. I mean, I don't know and they had also, the 3 outside linebacker look they were throwing at him, with Bud, TJ, and Spillane, or not Spillane, Highsmith all on the field at the same time. I don't know. Who was available the week before? I mean, they made the trade after the Baltimore game for a reason, IMO. Well, yeah, I think that the injury to Ulysses Gilbert, probably they didn't know at the time was going to be a longer term thing, or at least they were hoping that it wouldn't be. But I'm saying they had the same guys available essentially in those 2 games, with Avery Williamson playing 0 snaps. So I don't know. I think, especially reading into what I'm seeing from articles and just from hearing about the coaching staff, I don't think that Spillane's playing time is going down much.
Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about it the week that Devin Bush went down, that this guy is going to try to take in over his role. We obviously know he wouldn't be as effective as Bush was in coverage, but he's been able to hold his own so far, and they've shown no signs of taking him out in those situations. I mean, granted, they haven't really had the capabilities to so much, but still, I think you're right. I think that Williams will be the one to come out in passing situations when Williamson comes in. They'll keep Spillane in there.
Yeah, I think that what we saw change from the Baltimore game to the Dallas game was, I just mentioned the 3 outside linebacker look, didn't see that as often. And also Marcus Allen played 9 less snaps. He was only on the field for 4 defensively on Sunday. I mean, I see what Shane is saying, with Avery Williamson now in the fold, is he the guy that, is Spillane the guy that he takes snaps from? But I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into this. I think that if it's going to be more of a mix between Williamson and Williams, and Spillane is going to play more snaps than both of them.
I mean, just ask the question, Who's better in coverage right now, Spillane or Williams?
Spillane's better than, I mean, Williamson was very good in coverage up until he tore his ACL. The last 2 years, he has not been.
Okay, then there you go.
So
Spillane stays on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's as simple as that. Who would Williamson take their place for when it comes to being in coverage? If it's not Spillane, Spillane's still on the field.
Yeah. I don't see how Vince plays in obvious passing situations.
Yeah, remember when he covered Keenan Allen a few years ago? How'd that go?
Yeah, or LJ Fort. Yeah, between those two guys in that game. That was a fun time. But anyway, I mentioned the COVID list, so we can talk about that. Vance McDonald did play on Sunday, even though he popped up on the injury report with an illness on Friday. And right away, I'm not just saying this, I legitimately was. I was concerned about it. And lo and behold, he tests positive. And now close contacts, which include Ben Roethlisberger and Vince Williams, the aforementioned, are now on the COVID list as well due to that. And they have to quarantine, pretty much do everything virtual this week. They're not going to be around anybody. As long as they continue to test negative, they will still be able to play on Sunday. But man, and I know it sucks in 2020 because you say like a guy can't just, be sick and it has to be COVID. Like that's not the case. But with how, cautious we have to be to make this thing work, especially in the NFL, he should not have been playing on Sunday if he was sick on Friday.
I agree with you. There's no reason to take that risk. From what we've seen with different teams, I mean, we saw what happened with the Titans a few weeks ago, like a month ago. That whole situation, you do not want that to happen again with any other team. So I agree. If you feel under the weather at all, there's no reason you should play. It's just too big of a risk for not just yourself, but the team and other teams too, because it's going to affect everybody. If another team has to either get a schedule changed, or
the Cowboys, after going against Vance,
Mm-hmm.
I think what's tricky is the incubation period of this thing, and that's why it's like that's why it doesn't matter, what the Steelers. Going back to last week, like the Marlon Humphrey thing, he tests positive, the day after, all the Steelers test negative, and everybody was like, "Oh, sweet, we're in the clear." No. Like we're still not in the clear. And even if these guys, all the Steelers besides Vance, test negative this week, they could pop up early next week. So it's just the incubation periods thing is really what makes it tricky. But hey, I just hope Vance gets better quick and hope these guys just continue to test negative. And this is the only time that we're having this conversation this season.
Yeah, we saw a similar thing with Stafford last week, didn't he? He was put into the COVID protocol.
Yeah, Baker just came off the COVID list.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've seen it with other guys. I don't think it's a reason to panic or go crazy, Steeler fans. I would not be worried about Ben as of yet. But say Ben can't go on Sunday, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. Because I'm just going to say it. Mason Rudolph sucks. Like, that dude has no ounce of confidence in his body. And I hate it. I would much rather. I would literally much rather see Josh Dobbs, even though Josh Dobbs maybe when it comes to his skills as a quarterback, maybe he's not as good as Mason Rudolph is when it comes to just his tools of the game. But at least I know Josh Dobbs will probably have the confidence to be able to lead an offense. Mason Rudolph has zero confidence whatsoever, and then it goes back starting at that Raven game last year when he got knocked out. I mean, there's just no ounce of confidence in his whole body all of last year. And just on the few plays we saw this year, he just looks scared every single time he's in quarterback. And I do not understand it. How are you going to be a successful quarterback in this league if you do not have any confidence or swagger to you whatsoever?
Yeah, it's kind of concern. I do agree that I don't necessarily think it's an ability thing. I think it is a confidence thing. But it's kind of concerning that he is not – he still hasn't bounced back from something that happened a year ago.
Yeah, and that's why I don't necessarily think that, and obviously I don't want to speculate for the draft or anything. I don't think the Steelers are going to take a quarterback high this year. However, I think within the next couple drafts, the Steelers are definitely going to have to look at quarterback because no matter how long Ben plays, whether it's just next year or if he gets a year or two extension onto it, you're going to need to look at a quarterback because there is no way, unless there is a huge and drastic change in Mason Rudolph's play, that there is any way he takes over this franchise when Ben's gone.
I didn't like the draft pick, to be honest with you, when we drafted him. So, I mean, obviously, I would want him to prove me wrong. But no, I don't. I haven't seen anything to make me think that this is the next guy.
Dude, whoever
But
said they in the Steelers organization said that they had a first round grade on him needs fired. That's it.
yeah, I mean, listen, I think that there was talk like the Patriots also had a first round grade on him too. Shane, we know you like Mason Rudolph. He stinks, bud. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not sure it's confidence entirely. Think Randy plays into how all these dudes look. Ben only looks good when he's calling his own plays. Randy's plays even make Ben look bad sometimes.
Listen, you can do bad plays, but you can look confident when doing the bad plays.
You're not gonna find somebody that is on the show that's gonna pound the table for Randy Fichtner either. So
no, we do not like Randy Fichtner, but at least if he calls bad plays, I can trust that Ben will do it fully confidently. He would make the throw confidently. I can't trust Mason Rudolph to do that ever. He just looks scared when he throws the ball.
Now here's what I'll say though too, as far as Josh Dobbs goes, because he wasn't even active in Jacksonville, and then he gets beat out of his spot there by a 6th round rookie and Jake Luton, who we saw just start. So I don't think that Josh Dobbs is an NFL quarterback either. I'm not sure that he's even a capable backup. I'm at the point where I don't think that we have a capable guy in the roster behind Ben.
And no, we really don't. I mean, there's like I said, there's no way that we have a quarterback that will take over whenever Ben's gone. I mean, honestly, call me crazy. I would rather test the waters with Duck again than throwing Mason Rudolph out there, just because that dude has zero confidence. At least Duck may suck, but at least I know he will be confident in every single thing he does.
Yeah, that's tough. I think. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what we think because we know what would happen. Like if Ben doesn't play, it's going to be Mason out there. Yeah, I don't know where I would go with it. Okay, so here's let's look at Mason Rudolph last year. Okay, steps in the Seattle game where Ben gets hurt. It was 12 of 19, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. First career start comes against San Fran the following week. He goes 14 of 27, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Cincinnati game, Monday Night Football, shout out, we were there. Goes 24 of 28, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think you could argue that's his best game that he's played. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that you and I were there. The following game against the Ravens where he gets knocked out of, he was 13 of 20 for 131 yards and a touchdown prior to that happening. Win on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins, 20 of 36, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Colts game, he goes 26 of 35. And this started to get to the point where we were like, why is this dude attempting so many passes? Because 3 straight games, he attempts over 35 passes, yet throws for under 250 in all of them. 4 touchdowns in that 3-game stretch. And then we get to that point where 23 of 44 against the Browns for 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Comes into the Bengals game the next week. That's when Duck comes in relief. So, yeah, up until that point, with that hit that happened against the Ravens, I don't think it looked all too bad. We thought, okay, we might, have like a game manager situation on our hands here. Gets hit. It kind of all went to hell after that. We saw Duck come in. He made that start against the Chargers. I know a lot of people were clamoring for him to be the starter after that, but I remember talking on here about it. Like he completed 15 passes in that game and 7 of them were dump offs to James Conner. I haven't seen anything from either of those guys to give me confidence in a game that Ben Roethlisberger doesn't start. If you're making me pick one, man, I'm probably just flipping a coin.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good situation either way, whichever quarterback you go. I mean, sure, there's things that I like about all of them. It's just the thing that I dislike about Mason sticks out the most, and it's that he has zero confidence whatsoever. I'll just keep saying that over and over again. And you cannot play quarterback if you're not confident. I can't trust you to make a throw or to make a play or make a judgment call if you have zero confidence to your game.
I also want to say, Shane, I think you might have to change your tone on Jordan Berry then. Jordan Berry had a heck of a game on Sunday against Dallas. Much better than Dustin Colquitt. showed us all year.
And that's what I was saying whenever I said that Jordan Berry occasionally can show signs of being a decent punter. He's never been good at pinning people in deep, but when it comes to getting out of your own end and being able to hit the long ball, he's been able to do that from time to time, and he showed that on this past Sunday. Is he going to do that every Sunday? Heck no. He sucks. But like even a broken clock is right twice a day, and it was right twice on Sunday.
Think about how comfortable he was in the in his situation though with the Steelers. It like never looked like they were going to move on. And then he does get cut and they bring in Dustin Colquitt. Maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he's just going to be a stud now for the rest of his Steelers career.
Maybe. But who was the team that was bringing in Marquette King? What was that? The Cowboys?
Yeah.
For a workout? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know why the Steelers haven't brought him in for a workout. I mean, I don't know. I've moved on. What's the problem? Yeah, I mean, I get it. I've accepted that it's not going to happen, but still, one can hope.
We were talking about it too. It was a couple episodes ago where somebody brought up, Marquette King and, why he isn't like, obviously he punts for great distance, but again, never really been able to pin teams deep. Not a great directional punter. And who was it? Somebody either tweeted at us or was in the comments. And the ball would get there too fast and teams would have huge returns against him. Do you remember who it was?
Not sure.
I was at the Ravens game. I was close to the field. I can say there's a huge difference in the velocity of Mason and Dutch passes. Mason has a much stronger arm. Oh, absolutely. You see, that's the thing. That's what's so weird is, when you watch him play in college, that was like the first thing that jumped out. And, obviously James Washington being there too. We thought that would be a great connection when Mason stepped in at quarterback last year. That's why I look at him, look at his college tape, and again, playing in the Big 12, those guys don't always translate very well. Quarterbacks playing in those air raid systems. But I looked at him and like just the tools that he looked like he had in college. And then you just look at what he is now and some of the worst footwork I've ever seen. And again, that's why I look at it being a confidence thing.
Yeah. I mean, I literally said it 5 minutes ago when I was talking about him and Dobbs, that I think when it comes to the tools of being a quarterback, Mason has more to offer than Dobbs does. It's just, I feel like Dobbs would go out there with more confidence than Mason will. That's literally it.
Yeah. I think that the only thing that Dobbs brings to the table is the mobility over Mason Rudolph. He has the advantage in that area.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you're getting to that point, I don't think that. Here's what I'll say. I think if for some reason, if one of those guys has to start the game against Cincinnati, we're looking at our first loss.
Oh, for sure. There's no way that any of our quarterbacks would be able to keep up with Joe Burrow. There's not a chance. Even against our defense, I still think Joe Burrow is going to do well. He's a stud. So no way we would win. But it doesn't matter because Ben's going to play. He's going to test negative.
I like it. But, even without him being on the COVID list, we were talking about as well, banged up his knees. And I said that with a plural.
Yeah, so he wasn't even going to practice this week anyway.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to look at it like that, we didn't get the bye week. We still practiced up until, Friday at that point, that week. Now he can kind of just not practice this week. And, being the 38-year-old quarterback that he is, that should be no problem for him. If it was a young guy trying to play after a week of not practicing, you're going to have some problems with it. But I don't think it should be any issue. Should Ben continue to test negative for him to be able to go on Sunday. And now he's just getting, the time off from practice because of this. So
yeah, and
we'll get practice anyway, like you said.
We all know what kind of quarterback Ben is whenever he's playing that injury card. Big Cat loves it. The walking boot Ben. So
yeah.
Hopefully he just comes out of this and starts lighting it up again.
Shane, they kind of did develop a new offensive line overnight. They have two new offensive linemen, BJ Finney, former Steeler, and Quentin Spain, who they brought in after he was released in Buffalo. But even so, I mean, they held – now granted, the Titans are nothing compared to the Steelers' pass rush, but they didn't get home against Joe Burrow. The Bengals' offensive line held together by – Band-Aids and glue held up against them. They're not going to against the Steelers. He's going to have to get the ball to his hands a lot quicker. But
listen,
I appreciate your Christmas list.
I know that our defensive line may be capable of getting 5 or 6 sacks against Joe Burrow, and they just might. However, I still think Joe Burrow is good enough, despite his offensive line, to throw for 250 plus against our defense.
Yeah. No, I mean, so I don't know how their offensive line is going to look. I know they have Jonah Williams there. I mean, if TJ Watt is going to go against Bobby Hart again, we know how that matchup's going to go. Yeah, BJ Finney, Billy Price, Quentin Spain. I don't know if it would be those 5. Yeah, I don't know what their offensive line is going to look like in this game. It's not going to be good. I still think the Steelers defense is going to have, a great day against that offensive line and against Joe Burrow, but they got a lot of weapons there, man. It's not the same Cincinnati Bengals team. In just 1 year, they've transformed that offense.
Right. Literally the only flaw, I would say, like true flaw on offense, is that offensive line. Quarterback, stud. Receivers, they're very underrated. Their running back is good. Joe Mixon is a good running back. Their defense, yeah, and Gio, yeah. But their defense is not as bad as it was advertised going into the year. So, honestly, that offensive line is the only thing that's really.
I love Jesse Bates, their safety. I wanted him so bad in that draft. We took Terrell Edmonds.
Oh, right. Took the third rounder.
I either wanted Justin Reed or Jesse Bates because I knew we were taking a safety at some point. Didn't know it was going to be round 1. And we actually got 2 first-round safeties from that draft. We just had to wait on the one for a year.
That's true.
And we can talk about him right now. So Minkah Fitzpatrick, who even when he wasn't making plays necessarily on the ball, the splash wasn't there, he was playing fine. Teams were 0 for 4 targeting him up to that point, even before he had an interception. Pick 6 comes against Cleveland. All of a sudden, it seems like he's around the ball every single play. I mean, the last 2 games, he's broken up passes, had an interception this last week in the end zone. He also forced a fumble or recovered a fumble. I mean,
which is funny because it looked like the ball just went straight to him like a magnet, just went right into his arms.
The week before, forced a fumble. I mean, he's been all around the ball these last few games, so it's nice to see that he's finally starting to actually show up on the stat sheet, even though he was fine before that, because now, the casual fans can shut up about it.
Yeah, and I think we really got to emphasize, but before all these splash plays that we've been seeing that we were hoping for all at the beginning of this year, 0 for 4 when targeted. That means he's only targeted 4 times. Like, people aren't throwing to him. It's the same reason that people started complaining at the second half of last year. It's like, oh, Minkah's not making as many plays on the ball as he did before. It's because he was targeted twice for like 8 games. Yeah. Like, what's he supposed to do? If they're not throwing to him, he can't really do anything.
To that was like through 5 games, teams were 0 for 4 targeting him. Like, he wasn't even getting targeted once a game.
Yeah, so I don't really know what people expect. Like, you can't expect like a pick a game from him. And just because he wasn't getting those interceptions doesn't mean that he was playing bad and isn't a great safety. Obviously, he was. And finally, like you said, the casual fans get what they want. They get to see all the turnovers, forced fumbles, interception, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean, Minkah is. I mean, I saw someone in like week 3 or 4 this year questioning whether Minkah was worth it because of the slower start that he had. It's just because he didn't have a pick. But yes, Minkah Fitzpatrick is well worth that first round pick. Don't worry.
Yeah, like, so people on 93.7 The Fan were talking about it too, and that's what I was going to say was, talking about it being worth a first round pick. That first round pick was 18th overall. Miami drafted a tackle, Austin Jackson. I don't think he's been bad. I think that they've actually talked about how well that he's played. But what was that going to do for the Steelers? Like, defense. We needed something on the back end. We have for a long time. You saw how it transformed the defense last year. That's just carried over. He's still that same player. Again, just the ball's not always coming his way. He does have 2 picks on the year. He had 5 last year. So, I mean, who's to say he's not going to get 5 plus this year? He's on pace to hit right at that with like 4 or 5. So I don't know. I don't know where the criticism of the trade all of a sudden started coming from, but he's been a great player and nothing other than that since coming here.
I just want to look real quick at the safeties taken last year. So
I remember
first safety taken was Xavier McKinney at 36th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there wasn't a first round safety.
Yeah,
the one that we thought, Grant Delpit, fell.
Right. He fell to I mean, he wasn't even the second safety. He was a third safety taken to the Browns at 44. So obviously there wasn't a first-round safety. Minkah is a first-round safety, clearly. And I would rather have Minkah over any of these guys.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about it, we brought it up on the show when the trade first happened. It's like, unless that pick falls into like the top 5, and at the time we thought like Grant Delpit was like a top 10 pick.
Right.
And we were like, and you could have gotten him, then, it kind of gets skeptical. But I was still fine with the trade, even with thinking like at that point too, who knows what's going to happen this year because Ben went down. That was the weird thing about it. They literally made this trade the day after Ben got hurt with a season-ending injury.
Yeah. And I'm really happy they did, because I mean, this guy, I mean, I think he's his top 3 safety in the league still. And I mean, shout out to our friend Jake Lurkin Pineapple. He calls him the best safety in the NFL. So
yeah, it's so hard to differentiate, like free and strong safeties, which one's better, because they're just asked to do different things. It goes back to like the Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu debate. So, who knows? I don't know, but what I can say is I do think he's a top 3 player at his position for sure.
Yeah. You know what made me so frustrated last year was whenever everybody was saying, oh, we could have drafted a quarterback, like with that pick before we knew how the season was going to play out and where they were going to draft. It's like, oh, that could be a top 5 pick. You could pick your new franchise quarterback. No, because they were never going to draft that high. And even if they weren't going to take a quarterback. I can promise you that. So that argument made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, man, think about how interesting last year could have been though if they don't make that trade for Minkah.
Like, who do we draft at 18?
Well, they probably wouldn't have had pick 18 because they wouldn't have been as good as they were.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. The defense completely changed when they traded for Minkah.
Yeah, I mean, if it was pick 18, obviously you're not getting anywhere near any of those quarterbacks unless they would have reached on Love. I don't know. But I did want to bring up, too, just because we're talking about Minkah, currently on FanDuel Sportsbook, AP NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. The Steelers have 4 guys in the top 9 listed.
Wow.
Obviously TJ. And we just talked about the one in Minkah. He's actually the lowest. He's number 9 on this list at plus 3,100. So who do you think the 2 other Steelers are that are on this list?
I would say Bud Dupree.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, Stephon Tuitt.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the one that would make the most sense is Cam Hayward.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually tied. They're both plus 1,600 right now. So it goes Aaron Donald at plus 200, TJ Watt's plus 400. I'm not going to read all of them, but Cam and Tuitt are both plus 1,600, and then Minkah is plus 3,100. You know who I noticed on here too? Not related to the Steelers, but in a way related to the show. Fred Warner, plus 2,600, just ahead of Minkah. I think that you have an argument for him being like the best middle linebacker right now. Maybe behind Bobby Wagner.
And for those who are confused why it's related to the show, he went to BYU.
Yeah, he's a stud. He went what in the 5th round?
4th round, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but either way, 4th round pick for the best middle linebacker in the NFL. Remember whenever that trade idea was roaming around with like a
AB?
It was like a 3rd round pick in Fred Warner or something I think it was for Le'Veon.
Oh, I thought you meant when AB was talking about San Fran.
Oh. No, I think there was like a trade rumor. It was like a 3rd round pick in Fred Warner for Le'Veon Bell. And I was like, do it in a heartbeat, please.
Just some other things to touch on before we go to the NFL betting segment of the show. We talked about the injuries. So Mike Hilton fully practices today. That's a good sign. Same with Derek Watt, although he was active last week and just didn't play, right? So, or was it the week before he was active but didn't play? Maybe he was inactive last week. I don't know. Either way.
It was a week before he was inactive.
Okay. And Tyson Alualu was limited. So he's going to have a shot. We'll see what these next couple of days look like. Mike Hilton coming back, though, and Tyson coming back would be absolutely huge. Cincinnati is 4 deep at receiver. T. Higgins has been a lot better than I thought he would be, at least right away in the NFL. Tyler Boyd's a stud. AJ Green is still, a nice complimentary piece, and that's crazy to say, but that's just where we are with the injuries and the age that he's at. And then Auden Tate, who is an absolute monster. He runs like 6'4", 6'5", I mean, kind of similar build to Chase Claypool. I'm not gonna say he's exactly like Chase Claypool, but he can go up and get it. Kind of a jump ball specialist, but he's a nice complementary piece as well. So I think that we need Mike Hilton back to be able to be 4 deep at cornerback because they're 4 deep at receiver. Nothing against Justin Lane. He's starting to get more run too. And I'm hopeful of what he can become, but I think Mike Hilton is critical for this week.
Yeah, I agree. And I got to say that I'm happy T. Higgins has performed well because I remember in one of our mock drafts back in I don't even remember when we did it, like February or March, with all the guys that I picked T. Higgins to the Eagles, I think, with pick 21 or 22 or whatever they had. And I knew that was a little bit high on where everybody else had him. So I'm happy that he's at least performing somewhat better than most people. I mean, would you say he performed better than Rieger so far?
Oh, yeah. I didn't have Higgins in my top 10 receivers of the class.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was picking him high whenever I picked him.
Although I didn't have Claypool in there either, so.
Yeah, that's true. And he went 10th. He was 10th or 11th, 10th.
He was 11th. There was 10
11th.
Before.
Right. Okay.
And then the last thing, just kind of a note here, Wisniewski released by the Steelers. So we were kind of talking about it, like, what's his role coming back? Well, we were both wrong because he's not going to be on the team.
Yeah. I mean, does it really hurt the depth at guard? Not
I think that this is just a huge statement from the organization about how they feel about Kevin Dotson.
Yeah. I mean, we've been on this dude from the very beginning. He's been a stud. So I'm really happy that he's performed well enough to put them in that situation. But I mean, I feel bad for Wisniewski. Sucks to suck, but Dawson's better.
Yeah, it saves him a little bit of money, and he was also under contract next year. So now you have, that open roster spot. So yeah, I mean, again, I think that, I would love to have the depth there, but it's a move that I'm not upset about. It makes sense. And it's just an indictment to what Kevin Dotson has come in and done. So I don't know if I saw it coming, really, honestly, but it is what it is. I don't think it's, a critical piece to the team by any means.
Yeah. In my head, I'm thinking we will have more depth at guard whenever Dotson takes over next year. Filer goes on second string, and we draft.
Filer's a free agent. So.
Oh, is he? Well, we're gonna draft. What's his name? Alex Leatherwood, the tackle.
Bama.
Yeah, we're gonna draft him, and he is gonna start at tackle.
Yeah, we have you have Villanueva and Filer as free agents, and Banner. Banner obviously coming off a torn ACL, probably bring him back relatively cheap. I feel like you definitely have Chooks back. He's an obvious starter. He's been really good up until this Dallas game. He didn't have his best game, but I don't think anybody in the offensive line did. You have DeCastro and Pouncey, who are going to both be on the last years of their deals next year, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And then you have Dotson, who I think you have to have take over one of those guard spots. So yeah, I don't know what you could see a lot of movement. And then as you're saying, offensive line could very well be where they decide to go with that first round pick.
Yeah, granted, I have no idea what they're going to do or who they're going to pick. I'm not calling it them to draft Leatherwood there, but I'm just saying that offensive line is definitely going to be one of the positions that you could realistically look at for that pick towards the end of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, where else? I don't know where else you would be looking. Corner, because it's a position that, even though you look at what we have right now, and it might seem ludicrous to say,
Joe Hayden's not getting any younger, and Steven Nelson, he's only got next year left on his contract,
and he's taken a little bit of a step back. I still think he's a very good corner, and then you have Hilton and Sutton, who are both free agents, and you probably have to pick between one of those two. Now, again, Justin Lane emerging helps. Should he do so, he's getting a little bit more run, obviously due to Mike Hilton being injured. But yeah, that's a position that doesn't look like a need right now, but by next season, you'd be thinking it is an immediate need. So I'd rather address it before you have to than after you have to.
And maybe the Steelers just say screw it and do what we talked about a couple weeks ago and draft Travis Etienne. YOLO. Just
I mean, that would be just a luxury pick if you felt like, so say they win the Super Bowl this year, okay, and they have pick 32, and you're like, they give Ben they don't extend Ben, so he's making $40 million next year or something like that, and he's going to ride off into the sunset after this season. Yeah, just load up. I mean, go for it one last time. Give him Travis Etienne in that backfield.
Or maybe just make me happy and draft Zach Wilson if he comes out. I don't know. Trade up for him.
Yeah, I was just saying what you're gonna trade up for him because with the way he's playing right now and the way that there's a lot of teams, I think they're gonna be looking for a quarterback.
Dude, I mean, I'll say fully as a BYU fan, I did not see this season coming. I thought that he would improve because it's his third year in the same offense. They've had the same offensive coordinator the same time the whole time, and he's finally healthy. Last year, he was playing. He was coming off labrum surgery in his shoulder. He had been playing with a torn labrum since his sophomore year of high school, and he still has a torn labrum in his non-throwing arm. He's just not even going to get that fixed. And he had the thumb issue last year that we saw in the Toledo game. But
Yeah.
I got to say, I did not see this type of season coming. I mean, he's definitely – I feel like especially with the win at Boise State, if he can play solidly in the last two games, if they don't add another game, which I think they might try to. But I think he will definitely be in New York on December 12th. Well, not in New York. They're probably going to have a Zoom meeting, but he will be in the Zoom meeting on December 12th for the Heisman.
He'll be in a Zoom meeting that's shown on ESPN on December 12th.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get Stubbs in here. I mean, I don't know. I feel kind of bad doing picks this week because I'm not going to come anywhere near what I just did. I mean,
you're going to come back down to earth very swiftly.
I'm gonna be humbled. That's what's going to happen.
What up, Stubbs?
What's up? Stubbs, I don't know if you heard or wait, you saw. You tweeted me back. 11-2? I mean,
Stubbs, how did you do?
6-7.
I did the same thing, 6-7.
It's
so
bad.
My only losses were Houston did not cover against Jacksonville and the Steelers did not cover against Dallas.
The crazy thing is I would have been worse, but I had a couple like bets that weren't like favorites, like a couple upsets. Like I had Carolina instead of KC, like they obviously covered. Who else did I have?
Yeah, I went over on that game.
Yeah, I went under, and it bit me in the
I had the
butt.
Jags covering.
Oh,
like I had a couple like weird ones that.
That was the one too. You were like on the fence about it after we said that Jake Luton was playing, not Gardner Minshew.
So that record would have been a lot worse if I played it safe, but.
Yeah, mine. I mean, Chiefs game didn't go under 52.5. Bears didn't cover. Texans didn't cover. Giants game didn't go under. Seahawks didn't cover. Steelers definitely didn't cover, and Jets didn't go under. So, yeah, that's rough. And my most confident didn't hit, and my least confident didn't hit.
Yeah, same. I didn't get any.
My most confident was Seattle and Buffalo going over. That happened. My least confident was picking Tampa Bay and New Orleans under 51.5. They did go under. So,
yeah, well, good for you.
Not because of New Orleans. New Orleans did everything they could to hit that over, but okay. Week kicks off with Indianapolis and Tennessee. Indianapolis minus 1 point favorites. They're minus 116 on the money line. Tennessee is minus 102. The over under here is 48.5. Indy's a favorite on the road.
I can't bet on the Colts anymore.
Phil Rivers, man.
Yeah, he stinks. He's throwing. Someone on Pat show said he's throwing paper airplanes. Yeah,
I said in the Cleveland game, I wonder, how long of a leash he has before they go to Brissett, because like Brissett has been a starter in this league for them, literally just last year before he got hurt.
I guess just because he's getting paid so much, they're scared.
Yeah, 25 million. Okay, but you're paying him that regardless. So what, you want to not make the playoffs while you're also paying him 25 million?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But I have Titans on the money line here.
That's what I'm taking too. It's minus 102 compared to minus 110 if you take the spread or the under or over. So yeah, that's the best odds. That's what I'm taking.
Yeah, I went under 48.5 here, but after you said that, I would think about just taking Titans money line. I'm going to stick with mine, so we're a little bit different. I'm just going to go under 48.5. Houston and Cleveland. Cleveland minus 3-point favorites here. They are minus 178 on the money line. The Texans are plus 150. The over under is set at 50.5.
Dude, I really thought that the Texans were going to cover this past week.
Yeah, I did too.
I have the Texans plus 3. I think this game's going to be similar to the the Bengals game, like kind of like a shootout, and hopefully the Texans pull it out at the end. But I'll give them the 3 points just in case.
I took Cleveland minus 3 here. How Houston just played against Jacksonville. Also, Nick Chubb coming back for Cleveland. Kareem Hunt kind of underwhelming, averaged less than 3 yards per carry in his chance to take over that backfield while Nick Chubb was out. But I think getting Nick Chubb back is huge for them. I'm not super confident about this. It actually might end up as my least confident, but I took Cleveland minus 3. And Tyler just left.
Why is this happening every week?
I didn't realize he was frozen.
Me neither.
Like I literally just looked up and he was gone, but he must have been frozen for a while there. Oh yeah, I'm watching it back now on my screen here. Dang it, of course it was his turn to talk too. We can't even just nice.
Sorry, technical issue.
So did you hear any of what I just said?
No.
I took Cleveland minus 3. Did you hear what Stubbs before that? He took Houston plus 3.
I heard that.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take the over 50.5 in this game. I'm hoping that the weather
You know what?
is...
I'm with
Actually,
it because
hold
now we're
on.
all different.
Hold on.
I kind of want to switch to what Smitty said since he was 11-2 last week.
That's true. Sunday is 80% chance precipitation.
Nick Chubb's back.
I'm sticking with it. Over 50.5.
Okay. Also for Houston, I don't think David Johnson's going to play. I don't know if that changes anything.
Who's their backup?
Duke Johnson. Revenge game. Philly and the New York Football Giants. Philly is minus 3.5-point favorites here. They're minus 180 on the money line. New York is plus 152, and the over/under is set at 44.5.
I got the Giants plus 3.5.
I'm going to be honest. I just hate picking NFC East games.
They suck.
All the teams suck.
And I love where
But
the over is at too. 44
I'll
and a
say
half.
I think I'm going to pick the over on this game. It's got the best odds unless you pick the Eagles to cover. So that's what I'm taking. I hate picking the spread on these games just because both teams suck. I have no idea who's going to win. It's just that division is so bad. There's just no way to describe it other than that. They suck.
Fellas, there was a reason I won 11-2 last week. I don't make these types of risky bets. I'm going Philly on the money line.
The Giants
You're
are
a
picking
pussy.
up hard though, man.
I'm picking up an easy win here.
That's all I've been
You
hearing
are
on
a-
ESPN is the Giants play hard.
You are a vagina.
They do. They do play hard. I mean, they gave Tampa a run for their money. They won last week against Washington. They're still in the mix for the division. This could be a big game for them, but
Wait, you picked the Eagles money line?
yeah.
All right, let's go Jets or Giants, whoever they're playing.
They're playing the Giants. Tampa
Yeah.
Bay and
Let's
Carolina.
go Giants.
Tampa Bay minus 5-point favorites. They are minus 235 on the money line. Carolina plus 194. Over under is set at 50.5.
So
Did-
go ahead.
It's actually switched from literally just a couple hours ago.
What was it before?
4.5.
So listen, based off of last week, before the game last week or a few days ago, I would have said, okay, -5, easy. That's an easy cover. But then the Buccaneers do what they do, and we were texting about it that night. Who's the best team in the NFC now? because there's no clear best team. You said it was Tampa Bay. I said it was Seattle. Look at what they do this past week. Like right now.
Yeah, now
I
it's
feel
Green
like
Bay or New Orleans.
Exactly. I have no idea week to week who's going to be the best team in the NFC. So really, I'm scared to pick that -5. But Christian McCaffrey is not playing, correct?
He's
so I'm still going to take the -5, thinking that the Buccaneers are going to be pissed off and have a bounce back week.
Yeah, I got him at 4.5, but I would still take it at 5. So I'm with you. I took Tampa Bay covering.
See, I took the Panthers plus. Did it change to 5?
It is a 5. Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna switch. So it switched like while I was making these picks like a half hour ago.
Yeah, I didn't know how recent it was, but it's switched since I picked them. So
yeah, Panthers +5. They're like a Bengals. They might not win the game, but they always cover. So I'll take the Panthers +5.
Yeah. This next game does not have a point total on it, and I literally looked everywhere. So I'm not sure what's going on with it. I don't know if it's because of Detroit's COVID situation still going back to last week or what. But Detroit and Washington, where Detroit is -4.5 point favorites, they are -205 on the money line, and Washington is +172. I took Detroit to cover here.
I took them on the money line, Lions money line.
Okay.
It's not great odds, but hopefully that's a game that'll help my record.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Lions to cover just because I think their offense isn't amazing, but I think it's good enough to be able to cover in this game against a bad football team.
Yeah, Washington, Alex Smith is back at quarterback now. So,
hey, good for him.
Yeah, I think that probably now, if he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season, that probably locks up comeback player of the year.
Yeah, good for him.
Unfortunately for Steeler fans.
Dude almost lost his leg, so I will happily give that award to him over Ben.
Yeah, it just sucks that those two things, are coinciding. Only one of them can win it. Why couldn't Alex Smith come back like last year?
Ben's going to play on 2 torn ACLs this week.
That's true. What if it comes out that he has a major injury and he's playing through it this year? No, but okay. Jacksonville and Green Bay here. Green Bay is 12.5 point favorites. They're -900 on the money line. Jacksonville +610. Over under set at 50.5. Obviously, you're not picking money line on this unless for some reason you think Jacksonville is going to upset. So I took Green Bay to cover 12.5.
Same. Is that backup still playing for the Jags?
Yeah, Woods.
What? I think
is the backup still playing for the Jags?
Jake Luton, I believe so. I think that there's like structural damage for Gardner. I don't even know when he's going to come back. So,
even though I don't think Minshew.
Normally I would say that 12.5 points is a lot, but Green Bay's offense at home against the Jaguars, I feel like that's easy for them to cover compared to like what points they've been putting up this year.
Jake Luton's definitely starting this week, but just as of 3 hours ago, Jaguars Gardner Minshew not throwing yet, may not start when healthy. So, yeah, I'll take Green Bay covering this here.
Yeah, I'll take it because I don't want to even touch the total just because, I mean, Green Bay's defense isn't amazing, but how many points do you think they would have to put up?
Yeah.
They're a lot better than they're playing, though. They're just not physical enough. Green Bay's defense.
They don't want to tackle anybody.
Yeah. They got, like, good weapons.
They want to play offense and then play touch football on defense.
Yeah.
I'm breaking out the hammer for this next one. We got Buffalo and Arizona. Arizona -2 point favorites at home. They're -132 on the money line. Buffalo's +112. Over under set at 56. Over 56.
What a weak hammer. Okay.
Over 56.
I got the Bills on the money line here.
Oh.
At +112.
Yeah.
Man, this is another tough game because both of them, I think, are decent teams.
This might be the hardest year to bet on sports, I think. Well, at least on NFL.
Yeah, I feel like it has been tough.
I'm
Tougher than
I'm
last
surprised
year, at
Arizona's
least.
favored in this game. I know they're at home, but Buffalo just beat Seattle, and I mean, well, Arizona beat Seattle too, I guess. But
Well,
also,
really, when you look at it, you get 3 points for being at home, and they're only -2. So really, they're saying if
I
this
know,
game's in Buffalo,
but Arizona
then
also just lost to Miami at home. So
Miami's good.
I'm
Low
not
key.
saying they aren't, but Buffalo's leading that division right now.
Yeah. I'll take the Bills money line as well. I feel like they'll win that game,
Soft.
especially being able to play in a dome in Arizona. There's no weather inclement or anything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
What a soft pick.
Denver and Vegas here. Vegas is -4.5 point favorites. They're -215 on the money line. Denver's +180. Over under set at 50.5. I went soft on this one. I just took Vegas money line.
I took them covering the
Give
spread.
me the over 50.5.
The Raiders are turning into a good football team, which is kind of
Yeah, they're all right.
unexpected.
I think they'll compete for one of those additional wild card spots. What did you go with here, Tyler?
Over 50.5.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
LA and Miami. Miami -2.5 point favorites here. They're -138 on the money line. Los Angeles +118. Over under set at 48.5. Oh, that's Los Angeles Chargers, by the way.
I'm going to go back to what I said every week so far is the Chargers just – I don't care how well Herbert plays, they're not going to win. So I'll take Miami on the money line here.
I took Miami to cover 2.5.
I'm gonna take over 48.5.
Our records are going to be very different next week.
Yeah. Beefy's going safe this week.
Am I?
This is more unders and overs than you usually do, I think.
I've got 4 so far,
I
and
have
I picked the over in every game.
I have 2 over under so far. I only have 3 in general. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh -6.5 point favorites. -290 on the money line. Cincinnati's +235. Over under set at 45.5.
Okay, so this changed originally from the opening line, which was 7.5, I think.
Yeah, it's only 6
So-
now.
The opening line was
Originally-
8.5.
Oh, was it? Because I was gonna pick the Bengals to cover if it was over a touchdown. But
I got the Steelers
Man.
-6.5 here.
it'd be easier if you could tell me with 100% certainty if Ben's playing. Because if any of our quarterbacks are not playing, that is not Ben Roethlisberger.
I
Or
might
is
not watch the game.
I would say if I knew for sure that like Mason was playing, I would take the Bengals money line. But
I'm taking the Steelers money line. I don't bet on this anyway, so I'm just looking for a free win here.
you know, I'm gonna take the under 45.5 points.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. Probably where I would go otherwise. What was your pick, Stub? Oh, cover.
-6.5, yeah.
San Fran and New Orleans. New Orleans -9.5 point favorites, -405 on the money line. San Fran +320, and the over under is set at 48.5.
Is San Fran getting any of their injuries back?
Not to my knowledge.
Then I might just. I think I'm just gonna pick the Saints to cover the 9.5 in the dome.
Yeah, I picked the same.
Yeah, same here. And it's my most confident.
San Fran stinks.
What they did to the Bucks, who are a fully healthy team, there's no way they don't.
Yeah,
cover.
yeah, that's how I'm looking at it too. Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams here. This is a very good game. Los Angeles minus 2-point favorites at home. They're minus 126 money line. Seattle plus 108. Over under set at 55.5. I'm gonna break this bad boy out again. Where's it at? We're hammering another over, even at 55.5.
I got
That's just
the
because Seattle's defense sucks.
They're historically bad. Like, they're not just the worst in the NFL. Right now, they're on pace to be the worst defense of all time.
and Jamal Adams. I think Sarge told me he's ranked like 70th at his position.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus has him as like the 78th safety or something.
He's gotten burnt a few times.
That's the thing is, like, he's never been like great in coverage. He's great in the box, great tackler, great around the line of scrimmage, great blitzer, but never great in coverage. I don't think that they're using him the right way right now, and that's their biggest issue is they can't cover anybody.
That was a steal by the Jets.
I said that before he played a snap. I thought it was they had no leverage. Like, everybody knew Jamal Adams wanted to trade, and they still got 2 firsts for him.
Yeah. I got the Rams on the money line here. I think this is a bad matchup for the Seahawks. The Rams play like that Titans offense, like play action and little dump offs.
I picked up Jared Goff for this week in our league.
Yeah. I don't think they can
I'm
stop
gonna
that offense.
pick the Rams -2 just because I feel like if they're gonna win, they're gonna win by at least a field goal. So they should cover the 2 points.
How close is that? Are they only back by a game in that division? You think the Rams end up winning that division?
What is it? Seahawks, Rams.
Seahawks are 6-2. Oh, the Cardinals and the Rams are both 5-3.
I don't know. Could the Rams beat the Cardinals?
I think if like, gun to my head, if I had to pick a winner for that game, I'm probably picking the Cardinals.
That's a tough division there.
Yeah. But okay. Moving on, Baltimore, New England on Sunday Night Football. Baltimore -7 on the road here. They're -320 on the money line. New England +260. Over under set at 43.5. I picked Baltimore -7 here. I don't know. New England, even with winning on Monday Night Football, as time expired with a field goal against the 0-9 now Jets, that didn't give me much confidence that they can cover 7 points against the Ravens.
It's just
I'm with you.
It comes down to if the Patriots can tackle, because I don't think Lamar is going to be able to pass on them.
I don't even know if I could name the Patriots offense.
That Myers dude went off.
Jacoby Myers, yeah. I think he's an Ole Miss guy.
He's technically like the leader in the wide receiver room.
Yeah. I mean, Edelman's been out. And N'Keal Harry's been out.
N'Keal Harry? Yeah, he's
hurt. I think 2 of their 3 tight ends are hurt.
They have that white kid.
He's their returner too. Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
I can name like all 4 of their running backs.
Yeah.
Their running backs are pretty good.
James White, Damian Harris, Rex Burkhead.
Sonny Michel.
Burkhardt. Sonny Michel, but Sonny Michel's hurt.
Yeah, the running backs and quarterback are literally the only thing on that offense I could name.
Okay, wait, what was your pick on this, Stubbs?
Ravens -7.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's too easy.
Minnesota and Chicago to wrap things up. Minnesota 2.5-point favorites on the road, -154. Chicago +130. Over under set at 43.5. How wild! Like, Minnesota just a couple weeks ago, they had 1 win. I don't think they'd ever be favored in a game. Now they're favored on the road against Chicago, who just a couple weeks ago sat as the number 1 seed in the NFC after beating Tom Brady on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, they lost 3 straight.
With that being said, I took Minnesota -2.5. I think Chicago stinks.
Yeah, their offense is horrible, but I took the Bears money line +128. I don't think Dalvin Cook's going to be able to do what he did the past 2 weeks.
That's the thing is he has to have huge games
Yeah,
for them to win.
I don't think that's going to happen against.
If he doesn't have 100 yards, you can pretty much chalk it up as a loss.
Yeah.
Do we trust starter Nick Foles or Kirk Cousins more?
I don't trust Nick Foles at all.
Well, I trust him as a backup coming in because that's where he's been a stud.
That's the thing. Start
But-
somebody else and then bring in Foles.
Yeah, because as a backup, he's been amazing. He's won a Super Bowl like that. But as a starter, he stinks.
Like
So
every
I-
single game, just have somebody else start the game.
Yeah, I feel bad for Allen Robinson because,
Who has-
I mean, his whole career, he hasn't had a good quarterback.
Who has the best offensive line out of these two?
Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Chicago's offensive line's like terrible, historically bad. I follow some of their fans on Twitter just because of like the draft community, and they've been wanting offensive line help for like 2 years and they haven't addressed it.
Yeah, I'm picking the Vikings to cover, and I think it's
Minnesota
just
has
'cause-
2 really good tackles, and they have one weak spot at left guard, I think. So
Yeah, Vikings cover. I mean, I like Cousins being able to throw to Thielen and Jefferson more than I do Foles throwing to Robinson.
oh yeah, most confident. I'm gonna go with Seattle and LA going over 55.5. My least confident is going to be that what did I say? That Cleveland -3.
My
I'm
least.
going to say that my most confident. Oh, go ahead.
Steelers covering is my least confident, and most confident is the Saints covering.
My most confident, I'll pick the Ravens covering the 7 points. My least confident, I'm gonna say that the Browns over 50.5 because even though Chubb's coming back, it is projected to rain in Cleveland on Sunday. So weather is always a big factor.
Yep. Even though they are, primarily a running team, I would agree that that'd probably be my least confident if I were you.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see.
All right. Anything else? Any other notes? Anything else to touch on?
No, happy betting.
What's your prediction for Sunday against Cincinnati?
For Sunday? Assuming that everybody is healthy and plays, like there's no like COVID restriction for the team. I'm gonna say the Steelers win 28 to 21.
I'm going to say Steelers 28-23.
31-20 Steelers.
I'd love to see us get back up over 30.
I think our defense scores a touchdown this game.
Is it going to be
It could be a
TJ
strip sack,
TJ Water?
or I don't know who's going to get the pick though. A Terrell Edmonds pick 6.
Oh man. if you call that.
What are the odds on that on Sports Post would be?
All right, but as I have been mentioning, you guys, everybody that watches or listens knows about the Rocking Around the 412 mission. But right now, the guys at Crowworthy are doing something pretty special for us up until the day of the giveaways and stuff when we stop taking donations. So right now, we have a tweet up. It's our pinned tweet. If you can get any Pittsburgh athlete, any Pittsburgh pro athlete to quote tweet that with hashtag Rocking Around the 412, the guys at Crowworthy will donate $100 for each one that does it, up to 10. So essentially we can raise $1,000 doing this. So let's do it. We've gotten 2 to do it so far. Let's get to 10. But if you yourself want to contribute, Just search at Around the 412 with the word rockin', and it will come up right away, take you to the GoFundMe link. If you donate at least $20, you'll be eligible to win some awesome prizes, including a Juju Smith-Schuster signed football, a Jack Ham signed pylon with the Hall of Fame inscription, Minka Fitzpatrick autographed jersey, Brian Russ signed puck, Chase Claypool signed photo from his first touchdown, some other stuff. So get involved if you can. Every single dollar goes to those families. The prizes come out of our pockets. If you're not familiar with the mission, we're taking the financial burden away from families, people that need help to make Christmas happen for their children. We make that happen. So we got 2 families so far. For every $1,000 that we hit, we add another family. So should we hit 3,000, we would like to have a 3rd family. So if you know of a family, shoot us the information. You can DM us. You can email us at around412@gmail.com, or you can just reach out to one of us personally on Twitter, whatever it might be. You guys know how to get in touch with us. Other than that, I'll tell you guys about Keats Barbershop, which I, for some reason, deleted that information from my notes, but I think I can, at this point, remember it. Keats Barbershop is an old-fashioned barbershop. It's located at 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA. He's open 11 to 7 Tuesday through Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturday, and it's every Tuesday. He does $5 off for military personnel, first responders, and nurses. Again, that's Keats Barbershop, 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA.
Good job.
Yes. Veterans Day, shout out to all the veterans. Christian, who Keats Barbershop, he served in the Army. We love the Army. We love all armed forces, of course. But to any of the veterans out there, we thank you for your service. So thanks for listening to Around the 412. This has been a presentation of Crowworthy, where winners are serving winners coast to coast with sports, gambling, and more. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Around the 412. Follow them at Crowworthy. Visit the Pittsburgh City page at crowworthy.com for podcasts such as this one, blogs, betting, all that good stuff. Fantasy, of course, doing the fantasy football show, all that good stuff and more. Until next week, we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.